And so it is a hot day down here in Texas. It is, so you're gonna have to deal with, there's gonna be possibly some background noise from the AC, but I am not turning the AC off. The truck is reading 118 degrees. Now granted, that's going to be like straight off the asphalt or cement out here temperatures. But still, I'm sitting on a hot plate right now. And it is everything this truck can do to keep the temperatures bearable inside. So it's strange if you haven't been in a semi before. Like, it's nice and cool down level, like if you're sitting in your seat. As soon as you stand up or you stand on the lower bunk in here to access the cabinets or the shelves, like your legs will be nice and cool, and your upper body's actually hot or warm. That's how much of a temperature difference there is. I guess part is probably because the sun's beating down, but also the heat rises. So, and all the vents in the truck are kind of set lower. I don't think there's anything up higher. Well, the purpose of this video isn't to talk about how goddamn hot Texas is this time of year, but to just talk about kind of my burnout with OTR. I've been doing OTR for about 2.5 years now. And you know, it was something different. I used to do third shift delivery, kind of the same thing. You know, I drove a tractor trailer combo. It was just a day cab with a 48-foot trailer, and I delivered to Wendy's and Raising Cane. We did Checkers and Firehouse Subs too. And, you know, you're up and down a ramp all night, and, you know, the pay was pretty good. It's third shift into Chicago. A lot of trips into Chicago. But with it being third shift, the traffic wasn't too bad. The lunatics are out, though, so that's something. And, you know, I did that for about 1.5 years before coming to, come on, lay down on her baby. You want down or whatever? Ugh. She's restless. She always gets restless in the docks. I'm making a video. You need to calm down. So, I did that for about 1.5 years. And I just thought to myself, you know, I need a change. It was hard to maintain relationships and friendships and stuff. Working those hours, and it was a really solitary lifestyle. All my friends, you know, worked first shift. Every girl I had dated worked first shift. I wasn't, you know, doing live-in relationships at that time. So like days off would I try to flip my schedule, which was just stupid. And it would just, you know, wear me out, and I was constantly in a state of being tired. But so after about 1.5 years of that, I decided I wanted a little bit of a change, and transferred over to the OTR department for the same company. And, you know, for a while it was good. The difference being, the main difference, you know, obviously this is a very sedentary job, which wears on me. This is the most sedentary job I've ever had in my life. I don't think I've ever sat this much in the last 2.5 years as I've sat in the last 2 decades. A lot of sitting involved in OTR. Very long hours. You know, it's just the nature of the job. And I have it better than most. There's no sitting out somewhere waiting to be told where I'm doing a pick. I know where I'm going the previous week, so the week before I'll get an email on usually around Thursday. And they'll tell me my trip sheet, my total trip sheet, where I'm picking up, where I'm dropping, where I'm grabbing another load and bringing it back to our own facility. And I'm blessed in that way. There's no real guesswork in the job, which makes it better, you know. And I'm able to be out for 4.5, sometimes 5 days, get back for 2.5 to 2 days. But what I've kind of like found is, a short day out here is 14, 15 hours. A long day out here is 20. How you get to 20 hours when you only have 11 driving hours and 3 off-duty hours is, well, you start at the facility you're going to, like today, you start at the facility you're going to unload at, you PC into the dock, so you don't start your clock. You sit in this dock for 4 hours, usually, roughly 4 hours. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 3.5. Then you drive 20 minutes to a pickup site where you're going to sit in that dock for 3 to 4 hours. And you wake up an hour before your appointment to go check in. And so by the time you're fully loaded, scaled out, and ready to fucking roll, you're already 10 hours into your day. And you got about a 10-hour spot on your clock because you did burn some of your drive time just sitting because they ate into it, your second stop. And so it's a 20-hour day. I usually have 2 of those every week. And then 2 days that are more like 14 or 15-hour days. And it's tiring. You're tired. Then you get home, and because I can take my truck home, I drive it home, park in the driveway. I get the food and the dirty laundry out of the truck that night. I'm usually too tired for anything else. It's a Friday night. I get that stuff out, go inside, take a shower, make a drink, sit on the couch for an hour or 2 with my girl, just catching up and doing whatever. And we go to bed. Then I get up Saturday, and one of the first things I do is make coffee, go out to the truck, and clean it. Clean the truck, tidy it up, straighten everything up, so that on Monday, when I'm ready to leave again, I can come out to a clean truck. Then Sundays usually spent running errands and doing chores that I can't do while I'm home. Renewing the water tanks in the truck out here, so I have water and drinks and stuff. Putting dry groceries back out in the truck. Then Monday morning is spent, finishing up laundry and packing my clothes and getting packed up to leave again before taking off, around noon on a Monday. So it feels like my entire life revolves around these trips. And I just have kind of reached my breaking point with it. Like I said, I've done it for 2.5 years, and it's I've tried this where I'm gone for like 4.5 days, 5 days, whatever, back on the weekends. And I've also tried doing like the longer haul stuff where I'm just doing back-to-back trips and doing my 34-hour resets out on the road. I did that for a while, and I need a change. So recently I talked with the people that make these decisions, and I'm going back to delivery. It's third shift, it's whatever. I have put on at least 50 pounds in the 2.5 years sitting out here in this truck. There's no time to do workouts. You're just burnt out, you're shot. Eat bad. Even when you eat good, the best you could hope for is to maintain, and you're at you have to reduce your calorie levels. Like, I'm 6 foot, and at 6 foot, 220, 215, I don't have any fat to lose. I'm pretty stocky built guy. And normally I would eat 2,500, maybe 3,000 calories a day in my normal active life, and never worry about putting on weight. Out here, if I was to eat 2,500, 3,000 calories a day, I would quickly put on weight. So it's just taking a toll on my body. And I'm kind of looking forward to getting back to the delivery and the challenges that it presents. It's basically you're getting paid to go work out. It's the way I tended to look at it, and I will look at it again. And I look forward to be able to shed these extra pounds while getting paid to do it. So the nature of our delivery job is they are 48-foot trailers, and they are packed, and you're going to make 4 to 6 stops usually, and you're going to unload 20 to 30,000 pounds up and down a ramp all night. So that's what I'm going back to. That's what I'm signing up for, and I'm actually eagerly looking forward to the challenge of it all. And because I'm horribly out of shape, thanks to, you know, the OTR lifestyle. And my own lack of willpower, I guess, too, because I do like my sweets and stuff. And my goodies, my chips, my crunchies. I've told them, like, you know, obviously I want to do solo runs because it pays more. But there is absolutely no way I can do solo runs for the first 30 days. And so I want to be able to do solo runs, or I want to be able to do partner runs for 30 days, get myself back into shape, you know, like build up my endurance and my muscle again, maybe shed, you know, probably, honestly, I'll shed probably 20 pounds in 30 days, hitting that ramp like that. And then I'll go to actual solo driving, but I need to get paid as a solo driver for the 30 days because I can't take a pay cut. And they agreed to it. So I've got a couple more weeks in the OTR side of the company, and then I'm going to go back to the delivery side of the company. And my plan is to kind of like live stream my night out there. I think that'd be kind of interesting. I don't know what runs I'll be doing. I was doing a lot of runs into like the heart of the ghetto of Chicago, South Chicago and all that, and seeing some pretty wild stuff out there. Everything from the crime scenes of shootings, where I had to like remap my route to get to the place I needed to go, to a naked lady chasing a guy down the street at like 2 a.m. in the morning with what looked like, I kind of weaved around it, but it looked like she had a machete. It might have just been a pipe or something, but like I tell myself it was a machete. But she was big old lady, buck naked, chasing him down the street, and I'm just, yeah, I need to get around you. I got a delivery I got to make. To 2 different nights where we had rolling blackouts in the city. That was interesting. Definitely puts your head on a swivel when you're making a delivery and there's rolling blackouts. 3 attempted armed robberies on me when I was doing these deliveries. That was interesting. I tend to, being as it's Chicago and all that, and for other reasons, I can't carry a firearm into that city. And so I carry knives. And I had a boot knife, a buck knife I'd keep in my lower back. I had a knife in my truck, a hand axe in the truck. On the trailer, when I'd be on the loading on the trailer, I'd have 2 axes, one towards the front and close to the door, then one towards the back. So I didn't, you know, I could fight my way out of the trailer if I had to. And it all sounds utterly insane or crazy, but you know, I'm not gonna die for Wendy's chicken nuggets. Like if it comes between me and you, like it's gonna be you every time if I have a choice in it. And so like I said, you know, I'm not gonna die for the Wendy's chicken nuggets, but I'm also like, if they're gonna steal the Wendy's chicken nuggets, I'm not defending this stuff. But at the same time, you're not gonna trap me here. You know, you're not gonna trap me and take my shit. So you could, you know, you could rob the truck. I mean, whatever. I'll let you rob the fucking truck, and then I'll just call the cops and fucking go from there. So yeah, back to that. That's gonna be interesting. And I know I am going to be miserable for 30 days. It is going to be, I am going to shatter my body. I'm going to break it and reform it. And I need it. I've grown soft and weak. These last couple of years, I am the softest, weakest I have ever been. And I will be hitting the ramp while I smoke a cigar. I don't give a fuck. Remember once I pulled into a Wendy's and the drive-thru window had been broken through, and I'd seen that as I was pulling in, the drive-thru window was broken, and so I parked outside and called the cops. And they came and cleared the building. There's nobody in there. They came, cleared the building, but I wasn't gonna go in there. And let's see, is this guy no, he ain't coming to bring it. I was seeing if somebody's bringing me on paperwork. But another time I was inside of a Wendy's and some like homeless guy had wandered in behind me. I was dropping dry goods, Turned around and there's a homeless guy standing between me and the back exit. I said, you ain't in the right place, you need to leave. He said, I'm hungry. I said, I'm hungry. I said, they're closed, man. They're closed. I said, you go outside, I'll grab you some cookies and whatever, and I'll bring you out some cookies. What do you want to drink? And, you know, he basically placed an order with me. And, I mean, I'm not going to cook him a burger and, you know, all that stuff is cleaned up and put away. But I went and grabbed a man like a half dozen cookies and big soda drink out of the dispenser and brought it out to him. And he was like, thank you, and walked off. Like, that was I guess, the best case scenario, you know. A lot of, like, very strange and interesting experiences out there, for sure. So it'll be a change. And like I said, now that I've reached the vaunted status of having at least 50 subs, I can live stream from my phone. And I'll be able to live stream at least parts of the night. I don't know if I'll live stream the whole night, you know. I'm like setting up the phone and moving it and making sure it doesn't get snatched and, you know, whatever. I don't want to deal with all that. So I'll have to figure it out as I go, see what a live stream out there could look like. But what will also be nice is I'll be home every day. Be able to come home, shower in my own shower, sleep in my own bed. I'll be able to set up my own little recording content area again, instead of trying to figure it out in this truck like I have. It'll just be nice. And, you know, it's going to be, like before I would be able to do my solo trips in 9 to 10, maybe 10 and a half hours a night, all depending on the route. And now, considering how many hours I work, a 9 to 10 hour shift is going to seem like I just got to work. So yeah, that is my thoughts on where I'm at with OTR and what I'm going to do with my CDL. Because for now, this isn't working. I'll be back to OTR because I'm going to eventually move from where I'm at. This company's willing to let me take the truck and just like reverse route stuff. But for the next probably year and a half or so, I'm putting my OTR stuff in my rearview mirror, and I'm going to be humping boxes up and down a ramp. We down to Buffalo Wild Wings too. They took on that contract after I left. I've never delivered to a Buffalo Wild Wings. Guess I will now. So, for any drivers out there, you know, if you're feeling burnt out in your OTR job, maybe look for something that is an OTR, because I've been riding this burnt out feeling for a few months now. And finally I was just like, what am I doing? I have options. You always have options, you know. Don't do something that you hate and that makes you miserable. And ultimately, like this OTR experience after 2.5 years, I wasn't miserable the whole time, but after 2.5 years of it, I would say probably the miserable aspect, the burnt out feeling aspect, has probably been around for about 6 months and just growing to the point where last week I was just like, you know, I'm reaching my breaking point, my end point here, and so I need to make a move and make a change, because whatever I move to and change to isn't going to be worse than how I'm feeling about what I'm doing now. So that's where I'm at, and I'll still be making some videos while I'm still on the road. Like I said, I got a couple weeks left of this because I gave them the 2-week notice before the transfer, so I don't jam anybody up. And then after that, you'll see me out in the wild west of South Chicago and thereabouts, dealing with whatever that city can throw at me as I deliver chicken nuggies to the masses. Until then, peace.